Because it's a big, stupid jellyfish.
BioWare is in a rough position right now, which is very sad to me since they are my favorite developer. So today I wanted to discuss where my love for this studio began, which was Mass Effect. I first picked up Mass Effect in 2013. I was 9 years old, and it was my first BioWare game, and heck, probably my second RPG I ever played right after Skyrim. And I hated it. Probably because I was a dumb 9-year-old, but I thought the game was super boring, and I stopped playing it, and I put it on the shelf to collect dust. Then around 2015, I was bored of the same games over and over, so I picked up the game, popped it into my PlayStation, and tried to replay it. And when that happened, the game finally clicked. Mass Effect has to be one of the most special franchises that I have ever played. Without it, I wouldn't love the RPG genre so much. So let me make this video about this game that I love and celebrate BioWare and what they used to be, and hopefully, maybe with some optimism, what they still can be. Let's start where most RPGs start, which is character creation. Commander Shepard is not a blank slate of a character completely. You can change your gender and class, but other than romances and gameplay, these choices don't actually change anything. So you can pick whatever, except if you pick engineer. If you do that, then you just hate yourself, which is why I picked that for this playthrough. A choice that matters a bit more is your background you choose, which gives Shepard a bit more character than just being a Ken doll. It adds a bit of unique dialogue and later a unique side quest for each one. Nothing amazing, but it does add something that Mass Effect 2 and 3 sadly later start to ignore about the background system, which is something that I wish they kept in this game. These backgrounds are divided into two sections: Shepard's pre-service history and Shepard's psychological profile, which you have 3 of each to choose. This, along with Mass Effect's class system, where you can choose to be a biotic, engineer, soldier, etc., adds some depth to the character building and Shepard as a character for you to make him a little bit more unique to what you want. Even though the class system sadly does not have any unique dialogue or any changes to the story, I am all in all grateful that BioWare did add this type of depth into the game. The game begins with 3 characters that we will learn more about: Udina, Admiral Hackett, and Captain Anderson, all discussing Shepard's background that you chose in the character creation, and if he's the right man to protect the galaxy. Which soon after you discover that you have been chosen to see if Shepard is a good choice for the first human Spectre. Spectres are elite operatives for the Council that can pretty much do anything they want to outside of galactic law, as long as they get the job done. And this is a big deal not just for Shepard, but for all humans, since they are the new race. After the introduction of the game, we are quickly introduced to this game's dialogue system, the dialogue wheel. Now I will preface this by saying that Mass Effect 1 is not as bad as the games later in the series are with these problems of the dialogue wheel, but they are still problems in this game, and I need to address them. In my opinion, the dialogue wheel is one of the more frustrating systems in this game. You're usually given 3 options and sometimes a question or 2 you can ask in a conversation. These options you're given usually are down to being Paragon or Renegade or Neutral, which is this game's karma system. Now the problem with this system is pretty much at the start of the game, you have to decide which one you're going to be, because if you go back and forth, you will miss out on the karma points that you get. And by the end of the game, this will lock you out of certain dialogue options. So basically, the problem becomes in conversations, you aren't picking what you think is the best thing to say. You're just picking the top option or bottom option as soon as it comes up. This is a minor issue, it's not too big, but it does hurt being able to roleplay as Commander Shepard, being able to pick a Renegade option if you're trying to play as a Paragon character or a Paragon Renegade. So it does affect that, but not as bad as later in the series. Now, to get back to the positives, this game immediately starts with excellent world building. As we are introduced to the game's crew, we are called to meet Captain Anderson in the briefing room and on our way there you can discuss with your crew about this Spectre Nihilus. And why he's here on y'all's ship, everyone seems to be freaking out, showing that Spectres are a big deal and that he has to be here for some reason, since Spectres are not normally sent on normal missions. After meeting the crew, we go to meet Anderson in the briefing room, and we find Nihilus in there. Nihilus and Anderson both reveal that they've been secretly on a mission to pick up a newly discovered Prothean beacon, and to evaluate Shepard for being a Spectre. Protheans are an ancient, advanced, extinct race that we will learn much more about later as the game goes on. On our way to this planet, we are interrupted by a distress call from Eden Prime.
We are under attack, taking heavy casualties. I repeat, heavy casualties. We can't get evac. They came out of nowhere. We need...
We land on Eden Prime with Nihilus going ahead of our crew, and not too long after landing, we're hit with our first tragic casualty, Private Jenkins, R.I.P. Now's a good time to talk about Mass Effect's combat, which sadly is pretty weak. The guns feel floaty and don't have much of a kick, while the powers are not very exciting, and the AI, especially the companions, love to stay out in the open or do nothing to help. The game also has a light loot system, which I understand why they removed later in the series, but I do wish they would have, instead of removing it, have improved it in Mass Effect 2 and 3, because it is something that adds some depth to the gameplay system. This, along with the game's leveling system, does help the combat from getting too stale, but near the end of the game, it does start to approach that similarity. After the horrifically tragic death of Jenkins, we run into a woman running from these machines called the Geth. Kaidan shows off in front of the lady with his excellent marksmanship. We learn that this is Ashley Williams, one of the only survivors of Eden Prime's attack, and the attackers are the Geth. Nihilus gets shot by a fellow Spectre named Saren, and we see a huge ship take off.
What is that? Off in the distance.
It's a ship. Look at the size of it.
We fight our way through more Geth until we make it to the beacon. While calling into the Normandy, Shepard gets too close to the beacon.
No, don't touch it! Too dangerous!
Eden Prime is a good showcase on how to have an effective, quick beginning. It manages to make the player invested and curious in this world, unlike most games are able to. We awake back on the ship and discuss with Captain Anderson about the visions that we had of the beacon, and deciding we need to go to the Citadel and report on our mission to the Council. We arrive on the Citadel and meet with the human representative, Udina. Udina convinces the Council to have a hearing about Saren and his murder of Nihilus. On our way there, we run into a Turian named Garrus, arguing about his investigation on Saren, which we will discuss him more later. We meet with the Council, but are pretty much immediately shut down, seeing as we have little evidence and Saren is the Council's best Spectre. After the hearing, we discuss with Udina and Anderson on gathering evidence to show to the Council about Saren. Our leads eventually take us to the medbay, where we find a doctor getting attacked and Garrus saving her. After helping save the doctor, we find out about a Quarian that might have information that's being hunted by a criminal named Fisk. we agree to recruit Garrus, and we are tipped off that a Krogan named Rex might also be hunting Fisk. We go and recruit the Krogan Rex, since the enemy of my enemy is my friend, and finally go to make Fisk tell us about the Quarian. We learn that the Quarian is in danger and Rex has a sick kill. We save the Quarian and she agrees to show us the evidence. In exchange, we protect her. We agree to recruit the Quarian named Tali and bring the evidence of Saren to Udina. We have Tali play the recording, and it reveals that Saren is not only guilty, but his plans involve something called the Reapers, which are believed by some to have wiped out the Protheans and disappeared. And he is working with a powerful Asari, who we later learn is Matriarch Benezia. I just really love the way BioWare was able to make each of these companions you recruit have a good, believable reason for joining you, and none feel forced. With the evidence that we picked up on Saren, we bring it to the Council. The Council strips Saren of his Spectre status, but do not believe that the Reapers are real, and are hesitant to help find Saren, but do make a compromise to make Shepard a Spectre. With Shepard becoming a Spectre, Captain Anderson gives you his ship. We are also given 3 leads: Liara's dig site, Noveria, and Pharos. And with our mission being completed on the Citadel, we finally start our journey. Our first lead that I decided to follow is the Matriarch's daughter Liara, and trying to find her. We arrive at her last location and are dropped off on the planet, and now is a good time to talk about the Mako. The Mako has been talked about a lot with this game, so I'll make it quick. It isn't the smoothest to control, the turning and combat in it feels awkward, and the Mako is all in all very glitchy. We fight our way through some Geth and enter the dig site, where we meet our final companion, Liara, which she has trapped herself in a barrier that we help her out of. We learn that Liara isn't working for her mother, but she is a Prothean expert, so she can still help us later with deciphering the beacon and embracing eternity.
Relax, Commander. Embrace eternity.
We fight our way out of the dig site and escape it before it collapses and get back to the Normandy. Now that we have our companions, let's discuss them. I have mixed feelings on the companions in Mass Effect 1, being that they are not as strong as they are in Mass Effect 2 and 3, but this game is the one that laid the groundwork. Looking past nostalgia glasses for a second, I do think they are a bit underwhelming, at least compared to what the series will later do with the companions. One of the big problems is that the alien companions are treated like representatives of their races instead of actual characters. Like Tali, for example. Besides her being homesick and learning about her father, we don't get much personality from her. She does give us some information on the Geth and Quarians, but as a character, she isn't the best. You can also do a lackluster quest to help her with getting something for her pilgrimage, but other than that, she falls a little flat compared to what she turns into in the later games. Kaidan, besides having a decent, interesting backstory about his traumatic training and his L3 implant, is sadly the most bland companion, next to Ashley, since them being humans automatically make them less interesting. Ashley is a decent character, but is known in the community of Mass Effect as being a racist, and well, she is. But a lot of people don't talk about the fact that you can actually help her change her opinions and views on the aliens, and to trust them by the end of the game. Garrus is an ex-CSEC officer that got tired of the crap law system on the Citadel, and is probably my second favorite character. There is a cool system where, depending on what you say to Garrus, he can become more Paragon or Renegade, which makes him pretty dynamic. Garrus also gets a side mission that is also a little lackluster on hunting a criminal that got away during his time in CSEC. Rex, in my opinion, is the best companion the game has. He is a Krogan that was betrayed by his father and has given up on his people, and you can discuss with him on how his people are suffering. You also get a lackluster quest to help him find his family armor, which will help you with a decision later in the game involving Rex. Liara is a Asari and Benezia's daughter. She has made her life's work studying the Protheans and is a powerful biotic. All in all, the Normandy's crew is a decent start to the series that laid the groundwork and will only get better as the series goes on. Our next lead that we are going to follow is going to be on Noveria, where there have been Geth sightings reported. Noveria is one of the stronger parts of Mass Effect 1, where you have a number of options on how to deal with the bureaucrats. Shortly after landing, we learn that the matriarch Benezia arrived on this planet earlier, but is at peak 15, which we need to find a way to get there. Rex starts to get upset. Eventually, we find a way to get access to Peak 15 and then make our way there with the Mako. Fuck the Mako. While exploring Peak 15, we run into these creatures that were supposed to be extinct called the Rachni, which I love their design. I get stuck on this puzzle for an embarrassing long amount of time. We continue to make our way through the facility fighting a lot of Rachni, and we eventually find Matriarch Benezia. We try talking to her, but she doesn't see reason. We beat her Asari commandos, and Matriarch Benezia breaks her trance and reveals to us that she has been indoctrinated by who she believes is Saren, and the key is his ship, Sovereign. She tells us that Saren is able to make people his tools. Eventually, she goes back into her trance, and we are forced to kill her.
This is not enough. Do you know where he planned to go from there?
Now we have our first big choice to make. The Rachni Queen talks to us, explaining that her children are not in her control, and asks us to free her. You can decide to do this or end the Rachni race. I like this choice. Sadly, because of the later games, this decision doesn't matter as much as it should. I choose to free the Queen, and we make our way out of the facility. On our way out of the facility, we meet one of the researchers, and he reveals a way to get rid of all the rogue Rachni. And then, out of nowhere, he has this brutal death scene.
Set off the purge.
Arming controls are nearby. All you do is insert the key. Then I will give Clara the start.
We activate the failsafe and make our way back to the Normandy. We get another lead from the Council that involves the planet Virmire, which we will investigate later, but first we must go to Pharos. We arrive on Pharos and this guy explodes.
To prepare for the Geth, they are making another push. Please, up the stairs past the freighter.
We fight our way through some Geth and make our way to a colony. Not too long after we arrive, the colony gets attacked and we help repel back the Geth. We were introduced to them earlier, but I didn't mention it until now because Pharos has it a little bit more, but this Geth enemy type called the Stalker is just horrible, and I quickly just want to say, fuck this enemy type. We don't know what the Geth are after, so we need to head to the Geth's known base. On our way there, we meet this tweaker. We start making our way to the facility in the Mako. Seriously, fuck the Mako. On our way there, to the base, we find this group of researchers. One of the researchers asks us to help keep an eye out for their daughter, and we agree. We arrive at the facility and find the researcher's daughter. She reveals that the Geth are after the Thorian, a life form that she reveals little of besides it being old, just like your mom. We take out the Geth in the facility. This puzzle takes me 4 seconds, and Joker calls us, letting us know that the colonists have started to bang on the Normandy for some reason. We meet back up with the daughter. She tells us that the Thorian is under the colony, and the Thorian has mind control powers that the researchers were studying on the colonists. We bring back the daughter, go to the colony, fuck the Mako, and subdue the now hostile colonists, and make our way to the Thorian. The Thorian reveals that it is Saren that tried to make a deal, but once Saren got what he wanted from the Thorian, he ordered the Geth to kill it. The Thorian attacks us, and we defeat it. The Asari that was under the Thorian's control reveals to us that Saren was after the cipher, which can help someone decode the Prothean visions that we have been having. She helps us embrace eternity, and we make it back to the Normandy. Now that we have followed all of our original leads, we have one more left, Virmire. Before going to Virmire, I want to talk about this game's side quests, which are not that good, to say the least. The missions you get on the Citadel to the random quests on barren, empty planets they are maybe the weakest part of this game. The Legendary Edition automatically came with the DLC, and is for an obvious reason not talked about as much as Mass Effect 2's or 3's DLC, but does introduce you to a new race, the Batarians, which Shepard says like it is the most hateful thing to say to them.
Batarians.
But all in all, you can skip most of this game's side quests without missing much. We arrive on Virmire and meet with the Salarian team that sent the distress message to the Council. They inform us that Saren has been trying to make a Krogan army on this planet and seems to have found a cure to the genophage, the disease that suppresses the Krogan people. Rex has some conflicting emotions on this, but since we did his side quest, we are able to calm him down. And now that Rex is calm, we talk with the leader of the Salarians. He informs us of his plan on taking down the facility and asks for one of my squad mates. I give him Kaidan and we assault the base. We fight through a lot of Geth and Krogan and we make our way to the end of the facility where we finally meet Sovereign, and Rex states the obvious.
I get the feeling something bad is about to happen.
Sovereign reveals that it is not just a ship, but it is a Reaper. And the Lovecraft elements of Mass Effect are some of my favorite parts of this game, and this whole section of talking to Sovereign is probably, atmospherically wise, my favorite part in this whole game. We learn about the cycle of the Reapers killing, and that the Reapers are the creators of the Citadel and the mass relays, all for us to be harvested by the Reapers, but we don't learn why. After speaking to Sovereign, we get a call from Joker telling us Sovereign is on its way. The Normandy comes and delivers the bomb for us to plant. While setting up the bomb, we are called by Kaidan telling us that his team needs help, so we start heading there. Before we get all the way there, Ashley calls us saying she is under fire at the bomb site, and we have a choice to make: bland man or racist woman. R.I.P. Kaidan. I will remember you for your amazing marksmanship skills. We make our way back to Ashley and finally get to meet Saren face to face. Saren reveals to us why he's working for Sovereign, and it shows how tragic he is as a character. He believes that if we bow to the Reapers, they may let us live. He says it would be better for us to bow instead of going extinct. We try to convince him to help us, but he refuses, believing that he will not become indoctrinated, since Sovereign needs him to find the conduit. We defeat Saren, but he escapes before we are able to take him out. We escape the bomb and get back on the Normandy. Virmire is one of the stronger parts of the game. One of the most memorable parts of the game is choosing who you save on Virmire, even if it is between two of the weaker companions. After Virmire, we finally get informed that the Council are making a joint fleet to take down Saren, so we make our way back to the Citadel. We meet with the Council, but all they are willing to do is form a defense on the Citadel, but refuse to chase him to Ilos. They also refuse to believe that Sovereign is a Reaper. Shepard, not letting this go, gets grounded by Udina, and Shepard heads back to the Normandy to weirdly do this. After Shepard's episode, we get a call from Anderson to meet him, and he tells us his plan to help us get off the Citadel to chase Saren, since Anderson is the OG. Anderson heads to Udina's office and socks Udina in the face and unlocks the Normandy, allowing us to head to Ilos. We arrive on Ilos and get dropped off by Joker's amazing piloting, but just meet Saren. We fight our way through some more Geth and start following Saren's trail until we are stopped by an energy field. We learn that this field was put up by an ancient Prothean VI named Vigil. Vigil explains that the Citadel was created as a trap, and once Saren activates the Citadel as a mass relay, all the Reapers will invade, which is how the Protheans fell. And the conduit Saren is looking for will allow him to travel to the Citadel, and Sovereign will be able to activate the Citadel. Vigil gives us a file that will help us against Sovereign. After speaking to Vigil, we continue following Saren, going through the conduit. The ending of Mass Effect 1 is where all the budget went to with the cinematics, is what it feels like. I love all of the cutscenes and how imposing it makes Sovereign feel. After going through the conduit, the Mako crashes. Fuck the Mako. And we have arrived after Sovereign, so it is a race against time. Combat through this section also feels the best compared to the rest of the game, since at this point your build and equipment has fully came together. We fight until we catch up to Saren, and he reveals that Sovereign has pretty much fully indoctrinated him, but we are able to get through to him just enough for him to tragically...
It's not over yet! You can still redeem yourself!
Goodbye, Shepard. Thank you.
Saren is definitely one of, if not BioWare's strongest villain. You can really tell where he's coming from, and that he's more scared than anything, since he believes there is no way to stop the Reapers, which most people in his circumstances would also believe. After defeating Saren, we are prompted with another big decision: save the Council or focus on Sovereign. I'm disappointed in this decision, since there isn't really a point not to save the Council, since Sovereign will be defeated either way. So there isn't really a choice there for me. The fleet begins to attack Sovereign, and Ashley one-taps Saren, but he is brought back to life as the final boss, which is sadly just a stronger variant of the Geth Stalker. We defeat Saren's mangled corpse fairly easily and save the day. A weird fake-out death scene happens for the commander, Shepard, but we are obviously not dead. We meet with the Council, and we are congratulated on defeating Sovereign, and are prompted with a final decision on who we would recommend for human counselor. We obviously choose Anderson, since he is him, and Shepard leaves with this line:
Sovereign was only a vanguard. The Reaper fleet is still coming. Hundreds of ships, maybe thousands. And I'm gonna find some way to stop them.
Shepard's right. Humanity is ready to do its part. United with the rest of the Council, we have the strength to overcome any challenge. When the Reapers come, we must stand side by side. We must fight against them as one. And together, we will drive them back into dark space.
Mass Effect 1 still holds up so good to this day. No other game has as good of world building, and it just, every time I come back and replay this series, I at least do it once a year, and I look forward to playing Mass Effect 1 because of how well it enthralls the player at the first few minutes of the game. Probably the two people that watch this video, I just want to say thank you for watching it, if you stuck by and watched the whole video. I'm going to try to do more videos like this, maybe some other types of videos. If anybody has any suggestions, like what games to cover, what type of content you would like to see, or any critiques of this video that you would have, please leave them in the comments. If you liked my videos, subscribe and like the video. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you next time.